Good morning, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today, Why You Should Attend NAVUG Summit. I know we are all looking forward to this. It's a really good piece of information, really good insider tips about why NAVUG Summit is important. Before we get started here, I just want to remind everyone that we do always record all of our webinars. It will be up on the website later on today. That website is abc-computers.com. So you can go ahead and look for that this afternoon. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to type them into that question pane. I will call them out and get them answered for you. So I want to introduce our speaker today, Tom Doran. He is our Customer Engagement Director here at ABC Computers. Tom has a long history with NAV. He's been working with NAV for 15 years, a member of NAVUG for the past 7 years. He is a former member of the Board of Advisors. He did that for 3 years, and a current member of the NAVUG Program Committee. Now, he's attended the NAVUG National Conference for the past 5 years, so he really knows what you need to know about attending NAVUG Summit. So Tom, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Great. Thanks very much, Abby, and thanks to all of you for making time from your day to attend our presentation. Hopefully you'll take away some information that, if you haven't already registered, gets you inclined to do so. There's an awful lot of material at Summit, and we really are big believers in this conference. And so, we'll start, and really I just want to overview some of the highlights, things that we hear from people when we talk to our customers, and frankly, things that we hear from people who attend NAVUG. And so we'll start with, why people say, oh, it looks so interesting, but, we're so busy. There's no way I can get away. The reality is that, we're always busy. If business is good, then there's always something else for us to do. And so we want to really think about, where do we invest our time, and why should we invest our time, either to stay in our business and continue doing what we're doing, or to invest in ourselves or our companies and see if there's an alternative use for our time that might pay a bigger dividend. And so I'd like to cover just a few reasons that I believe it's important to take the time to attend Summit, and see if some of these relate to you. And so, the first is, you've invested a lot of resources in your NAV system. You've invested time. Many of you have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to get your NAV system up and running. You've invested a lot of ongoing training. You deserve to get more from your system, and there's no better place to learn how to get more out of the system that you use to run your business every day than NAVUG Summit. How you make those, or how you get more from your system is in several ways, but one of the best is connections with other end users. There's no better way for you to reduce the amount of support that you might need from your partner, to improve your processes potentially, to gain tips and tricks that help you run the system more efficiently, all the ways that help you improve how you use the system, save you time during the day, and then saving you time obviously helps save you money, and it potentially helps you serve your customers better. And all of these are areas where you could get a return on investment from the connections that you make with other users at NAVUG Summit. It's easy to say, well, I belong to Collaborate, I spend time on the blogs, but really connections are made face-to-face. And when you build a relationship with someone at NAVUG Summit, you have an opportunity and a better inclination to reach out to that person when you have questions, and because you have a relationship that you created at Summit, you can build on that when you're back at home. The third are the Microsoft connections. Microsoft sends a huge number of people from their NAV support desk, from their NAV development office, from the people who actually are product managers that determine what is going to be included in future releases. And so those connections that you make with Microsoft are really important. As an end user, it's a very rare opportunity to make a direct connection with the people who actually write your software, share your comments, share your concerns, and those personal relationships pay dividends down the road. ISB Connections. Many of us NAV users use many of the different add-on products or ISVs that are available for NAV to help us get more from the product. Again, similar to the previous two, those face-to-face connections when you can talk to the people who actually write and support the software that you use every day helps you learn about different training opportunities, allows you to give feedback to those people about features that you might like to have in your software. They're always there doing demos, they're giving tips and tricks, and if for no other reason, you can get a little free support. You can bring your support questions to Summit, you can ask them questions in their booths, and they're happy to help you with any problem that you might be facing. Similarly, FaceTime with ABC resources. ABC is sending over 15 people to Summit this year. It's a big investment for us, but we know that our customers attend and our customers like to see our staff. And so when you have an opportunity to get face-to-face with the ABC resources that many times help you, over the phone or over the web, excuse me, you have a rare chance to actually spend time to talk with them. Again, maybe bring a support question. We're not billing when we're at Summit, and so you have an opportunity to ask us questions, get help with any problems that you might be facing, talk about plans that you have for your system in the future. And all of these things are ways that you can help interact with ABC in a fashion where normally you'd likely get a bill for an engagement with a consultant, but because we're at this conference, you're going to have an opportunity to have those conversations at no charge. The breakout sessions. So there's really no better format for training than these breakout sessions, and there's going to be just an amazing number of sessions this year at Summit. I started to try to list them. It was hard to determine what I was going to list and what I wasn't going to list, and so I'll show a link at the end of this presentation that talks about how you can get this information. But the breakout lineup is really amazing, from finance, manufacturing, warehousing, service management, how to serve your customers better. There's leadership tracks to help you learn how to run your businesses better, how to develop your staff. There's a tremendous amount of learning that's going to be available in these breakout sessions, and you can't find a better value for the investment that you make to attend, because the breakout sessions are all free with part of your attendance at Summit. Pre-conference training. These are a full day dedicated sessions on manufacturing, on using financials, how to really dive deep and get training from experts at this session ahead of the conference kickoff. And so the pre-conference training is just a wonderful low-cost opportunity for you to get that really small group training that is so hard to get anymore in the channel. The entire focus is on NAV. When we go to some other conferences, while there might be NAV content, the whole conference isn't dedicated to NAV. The NAVUG user group is 100% dedicated to the product you run in your business. And so you don't have to worry about sifting through content and figuring out what applies and what doesn't apply. The whole conference is dedicated to the system that you run, so you know that it is really going to speak to you. And the ability to provide your input into the NAV product. It is a very rare time when you get access to the people who actually write the software. And so from the I Love NAV booth, they take our top 10 lists, they collect our input as end users and partners, and it helps them frame their thinking around how they're going to continue to develop NAV in the future. And if you've been watching over the past several years, it's clear that they have invested tens of millions of dollars into the development of the product. they're continuing to invest in the product, and your opportunity to have input and give your feedback as to the features that are important to you it's unparalleled, and this is probably one of the single best reasons to attend. If there's something you wish the product did, you can get face-to-face with a developer and explain to them why it's important so that they can take that in consideration when they're considering new features for the product. And it's in Reno, right? Why not go to one of the most beautiful places in the United States? Tahoe is close by. There's tons of activities. If you're a casino person, there's a beautiful casino. There's horseback riding. There's the lakes. There's the mountains. You know, for the people in my age bracket, you know, there's the Ponderosa Ranch from the TV series Bonanza, and so you can go to Carson City and see all that recreated. And so there's a lot of fun going on in Reno. ABC is going to be sponsoring a dinner just for our customers. We've got a great restaurant lined up, and so there'll be great meals, there'll be great time to visit, and there'll be a lot of fun to be had. And so if you've not been to Reno before, I cannot recommend the place more highly. It is a lot of fun, a great place to see a great place to attend the conference. So, you know, if these are great reasons to attend, really we tried to think about what do we hear from our customers and end users when they say, well, you know, I just can't attend because, and so, you know, the main reasons we hear, you know, I'm too busy. We don't have it in the budget. I just attended, you know, X years ago. Or we aren't planning to do much with NAV this year. You know, the issue that we run into there, you know, we'll start with I'm too busy. And I talked about this in my opening slide, but, you know, we're always busy. There's always things that consume our time. But, you know, Stephen Covey talked about it a lot. We have to take time to sharpen the saw. We've got to really think about, you know, the 7 habits of highly effective people. We've got to build our skills. We've got to sharpen our knowledge. We've got to take time away from our business to work on the business instead of working in the business. And so, you know, I'm too busy. I would encourage you to really challenge yourself on that concept, because you can't get better training for a lower price than attending NAVUG Summit. We're in the middle of a NAV upgrade. We hear this from lots of people. There's many folks still on the Classic client. They're making the move to the Roll-Tailor client. They're feeling a little bit of stress, and they're like, there's no way I can leave. I'm in the middle of an upgrade. I would challenge you on that idea. You know, maybe in the middle of an upgrade is the exact best time to go to Summit, because you get a chance to talk to other people who have actually gone through upgrades. You get a chance to look at the product in an environment where you're not trying to digest just too much information, and you get to see what other users are doing when they re-implemented their systems. And so I would say that a great time to go to Summit is to hit the pause button on that NAV upgrade, go to Summit, refresh your thinking, and then come back and finish your upgrade. I believe you get an awful lot out of that investment. We don't have it in the budget. Planning is important for all of us, and budgeting obviously is a very important component of our overall plan. And financially, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 to get to Summit and pay for the room is an investment that we need to think about. However, if you think about all the decisions that you make day to day in your business, I'm pretty confident that you spend $1,000 here or $1,000 there that actually wasn't in the budget. And so, you know, if you need a little help with your boss or your owner and you want some ROI points on how we think Summit would actually pay for itself, we'd be happy to give you some of those suggestions. Reach out to whoever your contact is at ABC. Reach out to me. I am more than happy to have a conversation with any owner or manager that is struggling with how they fit this into a budget line that they didn't plan on before. And then as as we're coming up to the end of the year, I would really encourage you, make sure that you put it in the budget for next year. The things that I've listed up to now, I hope give you some lines and some ROI points that would help you create a compelling reason as to why this should be a budget line, not just in this year's budget, but in every year's budget. I just attended X years ago, and we hear this pretty often. People say, well, I go every other year, or I go every third year. I can't do it every year. But every year we're seeing more and more new features released in the NAV product. And we're all so busy, so many emails. I know that ABC tries to be sensitive and not send too many emails from us, but there is all kinds of content coming out all the time. Microsoft is on an annual release schedule, so there is a major release coming out every year. There are roll-ups coming out every month. New features are hitting all the time, and so if you're not taking the time to review the product and look at what's available to you at least annually, then I really feel like you're missing the boat, and I would strongly suggest to you that NAVUG Summit is something that you shouldn't do just every couple years, that this is something that you should be planning on doing every year. We aren't planning to do much with NAV this year. We hear that fairly often, well, things are going well, we're not considering making any changes. Well, think about that a little bit. If things are going well, couldn't they go better? Aren't there areas where you could actually get improvement? Aren't there tips and tricks that you could get from an end user that might save you time, help you be more efficient, maybe help you serve your customers better, expand? For many of the folks that have made a step to the new NAV 2015, or for those of you that are thinking about making this step, you are going to get software that you likely don't already own as part of your upgrade. Microsoft's changed the licensing model. You're going to get a lot of additional software and a lot of new features that are going to be available to you. And it would be a great time to start planning about what you might be able to do with your NAV system. And so, as you consider the reasons that are holding you back from hitting that register button, I would just say that don't let planning, really be a hindrance. You want to think about, what are your opportunities? How could I get more from the system that I already have? And consistent improvement and consistent learning and that consistent interaction with your peers, other NAV users, are ways that will help you pick up the tips and tricks that make this trip pay for itself every year. So, with that, I would just say, October 13th to the 15th in Reno, it is a beautiful part of our country. It is a wonderful time with all of the folks that I have mentioned. Certainly ABC would be looking forward to seeing you there. Certainly I'm going, I will be there, and I certainly hope that would not hinder any of you. And if you're saying, hey, if you skip, I'll go, I'll skip, because I want you to go, because I believe that you're going to get more from this session than you would get in any other conference that you might attend, that with information that you can apply every day in your business. So this is one of our shorter sessions, but we wanted to get to the point and give you a few reasons to attend. If you look at the URL at the bottom there, so it's navugsummit.com, outstanding session overview there. You can register, you can make all of your arrangements for hotels, and really hope that you give strong consideration to attending NAVUG Summit this year. I look forward to seeing you there, and for the ABC customers, I hope to share a meal with you while we're out there. Abby, any questions come in?
We do not have any questions yet. I just want to remind our attendees, if you do have any questions, go ahead and type them into the question pane there on your dashboard. Also, while we're waiting, just to make sure nobody has any follow-up questions, I do want to remind everyone that we record this webinar and all of our webinars. This one will be available later on this afternoon on our website. That is abc-computers.com. And Tom, I'll tell you, I don't have any questions. I think you covered our bases for us.
Okay, well, it was a pretty straightforward topic. Thanks to all of you again for attending today, and I really look forward to seeing you in Reno in October. Thanks, and have a great day.